The very first time today, I invite you to raise your hand. We have a little gift for you. If you have never been here before, okay? And behind you also. Great. We used to give out, we had a different system. We're adjusting our systems. Good morning, all those of you from far and wide and local. I'm so happy that we have this opportunity to continue to meet. And some of you, in seeing each other, some of you haven't seen each other in years, literally, because we've been online. So, because I know you love this, I invite you to just give a good morning to listen, if you don't want to, you stay seated. We want to give you that license to not participate. But if you want to participate, just say good morning to a few people right in your immediate circle. Go ahead, get up and say good morning. I'm always afraid of, losing them.
Good morning.
I mean, the truth is that whatever we think we're here for, that's what you're here for. You might have thought you came for the inspiration, but the truth is you came for love. You might have thought you came for the music, but you came for an expression of love.
Yes.
You came for love. You came to be seen. You came to be accepted. That's who we are. That's who the Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey is. Yes. We are, and these words are very deliberate, we are an open and accepting Science of Mind community. And it doesn't matter the shapes or where you come from, the path. We bless the path that led you here, and you are welcome from any path. So I'm so thrilled to be with all of you again today, and this is going to become more frequent, of course. So last time I was here on April 9th, we started a new thing called a praxis. And those sheets from last month are out on the table. And praxis, life stands for living in full expression, a life in praxis. And I gotta say, something about being here in this Jewish temple has inspired some of this, because the one thing about Judaism, if you don't know, I don't know if we have any Jews in the room, but the thing about Judaism is that their practice, their religion is in the home. Their religion is around the dining room table. Their religion is a profound practice of being who they say they want to be. And that isn't necessarily the way we are as New Thought sometimes, and it's not even necessarily the way Christians practice. So we're taking the influence and the beauty of this place, which we bless them so tremendously, and we are going to allow them to influence us in how we work with our community. Number one, I want to remind you that we have changed up the order so that you get the spiritual practices that we teach. Every Sunday will be inspiration and music and meditation and prayer. Every Sunday. And so and this is something, bless you, this is something that you've heard me say if you've been with me for a long time. I'm not about to say anything new. But I still see us needing to refine this practice. And here's what it is. We need to remember how destructive the habit of worry is. We really need to get on top of our need to worry. Sometimes we worry because we think it's loving. We think that if I worry about you, I'm loving you. And in truth, that's not the principle. Because Spirit is pouring itself into, through, and as us, right? So if it's pouring itself through me as a worried being, now my thought of you becomes contaminated with worry. But if I know your perfection, and I know the perfection of my family, and this for me having children and having grandchildren, I assure you, I practice this all the time because I don't want them having my negative input. I don't. So I practice not worrying. But I don't have copies of this today, but they'll be here for next week. So here's what I want you to get. We have to create a mold that's powerful and empowering, yes?
Yes.
That's a mental thinking mold. That's what it is. Because your mold is equivalent to your life. The mold that you set in motion is equivalent to your life. So if you're pondering limitations, that's the mold you're creating. And God doesn't care. God's like, oh, I love this person. I'm going to give them whatever they're thinking about. This intelligence is just going to pour in. So it's about us refining, defining, and disciplining our thinking. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So, repeat after me. I am always guided, guarded, and protected.
I am always guided, guarded, and protected.
So for those of us who have children or even college-age kids that are off or whatever age, and you start to ponder about somebody, then your statement is, so-and-so is always guided, guarded, and protected. So let's just say that about ourselves one more time. I am always guided, guarded, and protected. And let that be the what you turn to on a regular basis. Yes?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Mm-hmm. So this month has been a month of vulnerability. This year, unlike what we have done in the past, we are loosely following the themes of CSL. And we refine them, and Tony knows and Joel knows. If they don't like it, just toss it out and do what? Oh, there's a song. I do that sometimes. I get a little worked up. Sorry.
That was the preview, so your lips are wet now, right?
I want this song.
Yeah, okay, good. Well, this is perfect. It's a great lead-in. Choir, let's get moving. All right, this is a song about you. God knows my name. I am not forgotten. I am not forgotten. I am not forgotten. God knows my name. God knows my name. God knows your name. I think God gave you your name. God knows my name. God knows my name. I am not forgotten. I am not forgotten. I am not forgotten. God knows my name. God knows my name. God knows my name. Faithfully and wonderfully made. I am not forgotten. I am not forgotten. I am not forgotten. God knows my name. I am not forgotten. I am not forgotten. I am not forgotten. God knows my name. God knows my name. God knows my name. Light over darkness, strength over weakness, joy over sadness. God knows my name. Father to the fatherless, friend to the friendless, am not forgotten. God knows my name. I am not forgotten. I am not forgotten. I am not forgotten. God knows my name. God knows my name. God knows my name.
What an error that would have been for me to not get off the stage. And I'll tell you a bit of truth. The very first time we did that song when Brandis was here for the rally, I thought, what the heck are they bringing into my community? And years later, I find myself singing those words, even just in the middle of the week. And here's the funniest part. So does my 27-year-old. It's one of the songs that I'll find him just singing the song. And so for those of us who might not like, I want to just remind you again, language should not stand in the way of your receptivity of your good. So when God is a word that you go, change it. Change it. Accept what you can accept, because the vibration behind what we're doing matters more than anything else. Okay? Yes?
Yes.
Good. Okay. So, I start again. We are completing our month of vulnerability. And so there are some things that hopefully you learned throughout the month between myself and Joel and Reverend Joel and the soon-to-be Reverend Tony. I want you to hear that, the soon-to-be Reverend Tony.
That's right.
We've learned that being vulnerable is not that you are weak. I want you need to really get that. Being vulnerable is not about being weak. There are moments when you're vulnerable and you feel threatened, right? You know that experience, right? You just feel a little threatened. But we avoid being vulnerable because we think it keeps us safe. But really what it does, it blocks us from our good. It blocks us from our essence. And so what we don't want to do is we don't want to be blocked. We want to trust that as we shed the layers of our being, there's something, and that something is the essence of your perfection. Evelyn mentioned it. There is a place, I'm going to remind you of these words, there is a place within each and every one of us that has never been hurt, harmed, or injured in any way. It is your divine perfection. No one can undo it. No one can interrupt it. No one can take it away. It cannot be damaged because it is the purity that when you were birthed, that it birthed you. And it's going to be there. It was there to greet you on your coming, and it's going to be there to greet you on your going. It is your essence. Vulnerability, contrary to what you might think, is a superpower. It's a superpower. Because I know for me, my life and my life experiences and my young life experiences left me feeling extremely guarded. Anybody know what I'm talking about? I walked around feeling unsafe. I walked around not really wanting to be seen. Not even wanting to be seen. So let me tell you how serious this was. As an adult, full out, like many decade adult, I didn't like walking down the street with my dog on a leash because I didn't want the neighbors to see me. I would catch that. I felt so damaged. I didn't want you to see me. So for me, being vulnerable was not feeling safe. And I had to learn to love the essence of my being enough that I was willing to shed another layer of who I was. This is our job. Because at that place of vulnerability is your strength, whether you realize it or not. Because when you are in touch with yourself, when you realize that when you guard yourself, you're not just guarding yourself to keep you safe, but you are putting a boundary between you and your creativity and your intelligence and your beauty, because you can't walk around like this, guarded, and walk around feeling full, feeling alive. You know, I know that in the affirmation, I use the word naked twice, and I think probably every time you read it in the affirmation, you might have gone, but I always just mean that metaphorically. But to drop the boundaries, to be able to drop the boundaries is an amazing thing to do. And there's many things to do in order to do that, because we really must shed the layers between us and the fullness of our being. How? Part of it, call a practitioner. I mean it, call a practitioner. There are people who are dedicated, and I know one of them here, who works with a practitioner twice a month, every month, to stay fresh and to stay clear. That's a powerful thing to do. Prayer partners. I can't push this enough. Matter of fact, on some of the seats next to you, next Sunday, I'm doing an in-house prayer partner workshop. if you have not learned to, and let's get away from the word prayer if that bothers you, spiritual mind treatment, and in my new book I call it mind shifting, because then you are literally dedicating yourself to disciplining the mind and breaking the mold that has kept you small. You don't deserve to play small. I'm letting you feel that. Because some of us still do. Some of us are still playing small. In order to create the movement, there's a lot of things we want to practice. And of course, you know that one of the things that I'm going to recommend always is your practice of forgiveness. Because when you practice forgiveness of yourself and others, you are shedding a layer that is in the way, and you are shedding the righteousness of your anger. Whoop. Oh well, 2. That's how powerful forgiveness is. I'm going to give you a little exercise. Before you leave here today or during the week, try this. Go to somebody you feel safe with. You have to feel safe. And say to them, you have to both be in agreement. It's great for husbands and wives and partners. Say to them, the thing I don't want you to know about me right now is. The thing I don't want you to know about me right now is. Now, I don't bore you with my stories too often on a Sunday, but in my classes, I completely promote people just saying what is. Because the sooner we say what is, it loses its power over us. And then as we continue to shed the layers, what you and I are getting to is our God essence, our life essence, our personal power that exists at the heart of your being. Anybody want a little bit more of that? Yeah. Then you have to, wait, yeah, really, that was so pathetic. Did you see that? What the hell? Does anybody want a little bit more of your personal lessons? Really? Because otherwise you're subscribing to the layers that deny your perfection. Everyone sitting here, you have something else that's eating at you. You have this other voice behind the voice. And some of you are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I know that's not a popular Science of Mind statement, but anybody just sometimes feel like I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired? Yes. Well, let that motivate you. You deserve to have it the way you want. Yeah. Oh, I got chills. Within the global vision of the Centers for Spiritual Living, it says in our global vision, we envision all people, all beings, and all life as expressions of God. We see a world in which every person lives in alignment with their highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with each other. A world in which individually and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. And action. You are being called out. Called out to you. Called out to we have our smaller self with a little s, and then we have our greater self. And that greater self is where we move into wholeness. And next month, we're going to do a month of shadows, work on the shadow. You know, I love that too, because that's, another thing that I teach quite a bit. Captive within that, to be vulnerable to the shadow, actually, just to tie that together, to be vulnerable to the shadow is a powerful statement. Is a powerful way of being. It's not easy. What? What's the shadow? For me, the shadow is, not just for me, the shadow is what gets created when we are afraid to be in our essence and we deny and project out to others. So your challenge shows up as other people. It shows up as the person you've married over and over again. It shows up at the boss. You keep getting hired by the same kind of boss because you haven't healed the inside. And then once we do that, the outside starts to take a new form. But there is a beauty at the heart of each of us. Right now, don't get up. Turn around and say to somebody, I see you. Just say that. I see you. And we might be giggling a little bit, but I assure you, that's what we want. I was sharing my class the other day. I went to visit my grandkids the other night, and as you know, I have 7, almost 9-year-old, and then the baby, and the 7 and 9-year-old. I had to leave. I couldn't stay for long. And I'm like, I got to go. And they, Nana, I want to show you something. I want to show you something. And you could tell that at that age, the desperation to be seen. We want to be seen, so we need to see. And we need to see ourselves. But to see someone and place attention on them is a loving thing to do. It's okay about the baby, but I want you to know it's okay. Babies can cry. So, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to repeat after me. I release all self-judgment.
I release all self-judgment.
I accept myself as I am and as I am not.
I accept myself as I am and as I am not.
I am powerful, unstoppable, and amazing.
I am powerful, unstoppable, and amazing.
I accept the full measure of my birthright.
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 Be bold in your acceptance. Because there, at the heart of you, is this power and this beauty. And it's who you are. And as we remove the layers, the essence of who you are is revealed. Now, I wouldn't tease you with these. We're going to give them to you. Who would like to help me give them away? A couple people? Come on, Marilyn. Donald's. Thank you. Yeah, just take some and give them away. They're going to be a little wet. I do not believe there's any thorns. Yep, there's a lot of them. 3 dozen. I might have needed more. Thank you, God, that I needed more. If you don't get one, I love you anyway. Let's give to that direction first. I love you, choir. But what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to receive this rose as a token of perfection. See each other as you're receiving the rose. Take it as a blessing. Take the rose as a blessing, because I assure you, at the heart of who you are is this incredible beauty. And for some reason, you have agreed with the lies. You've agreed with the conditioning of humanity. Somehow you've been distracted. Can you say that that's very likely true?
Yes.
You've been distracted.
Yes.
But you were not born to be distracted. You were not born to play small. You were not born to be in fear. You are not born to play small.
Amen.
And when you choose finally to be vulnerable, which means to let out the pretty parts and the not so pretty parts. I got a lot of not so pretty parts. But the blessing is, I'm no longer afraid of them. Thank you. Aren't they beautiful? Thank you. I wasn't sure if we'd have enough, so. You are here for us to remind you whenever you come, whether it's a class, whether it's a Sunday celebration, whenever it is. Our job, us being the community, the practitioners, the ministers, our job is to remind you of your perfection. Now, I'm going to ask you to do something as I treat. And I've been encouraging this, but I want to do it more often. And this comes from all the studies we've been doing about body-mind connection. Like I told you a while ago, we just did Lisa Rankin's Mind Over Medicine, and now we're doing Gabor Mate's the Myth of Normal. And I'm getting more and more and more in touch with the influences that our stressors have had on us. And for the people of color in the room, it quadruples the daily stress of life. I want you to know that I know that. I'm not fooling myself. You don't have it easy. You don't have it easy. So we don't have to hang in that. But let's take a moment to be with the body. So what I'd like you to do, and I know some of you might not quite want to, but whether it's stroking your shoulders or your face, or you can even hold hands. You could do it with somebody else if you want. I want you, please, I invite you to make sure your body knows right now that you are safe. Tell your body by the touch that you are safe, because your body needs to know that. Your mind is doing the work, but it's your body that gathers all those stressors and all that stuff. And it's meant to protect you, but the truth is it doesn't know how to let go. We have to tell it. So love on yourself. Love on yourself. And keep doing this while I treat, okay? Oh my God, there's a good and glorious vibration running through this room right now. I declare for each and every one of us that life is good, and so very good. It is beautiful, it is holy, and it is sacred. It is sacred. Let us accept the fullness of our being. Let us accept the invitation to be bold, to be vulnerable, and to let our vulnerability be our superpower. Because when I am willing to be here out loud, no thing and no person can harm me. We are always guided, guarded, and protected. Yes? Yes. Yes. And as our vulnerability shows up, more power comes with it. Let us accept the essence of our being with great love. With great love. Let our body know that we're paying attention so healing can happen. For this and so much more, I am incredibly grateful. Thank you to the place where Spirit dwells within. And so it is. Thank you.
Michelle, do you want to say anything about the song?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Let's just do it.